I want to tell you about a sale that I just closed that I think says a lot about what is actually happening in the market right now. It was a $2.3 million home in Mount Crested Butte, and it never officially came back on the market when it came off at the end of last year. My clients that I was working with never competed against anyone else for it, and it just closed on May 1st, and here's what happened and what it means for you if you are looking to buy or sell right now. Hi, I'm Heather Woodward with Living in Crested Butte, Colorado, and if you've been thinking about moving to Crested Butte, Gunnison, or any of the surrounding areas, go ahead and subscribe below so you can be the first to learn about the ins and the outs of our area, including the current real estate market. I love helping people just like you every single day. So whether you're moving here in 60 days or 6 months from now, you're moving across the world, across the country, or just up and down the valley, feel free to give me a call, text, or an email. All of my contact information is in the description below. And again, I would love to make your move everything that you want it to be. All right, so here's how it started. A few years ago, when these clients came to me to buy a condo at the Eagle's Nest in Mount Crested Butte, this was an investment property. We had looked around and they had settled on this beautifully remodeled Eagle's Nest. And it was just a great unit. They ended up using it as a vacation rental to generate some income. And then, they enjoyed the mountains and on their trips and just kind of enjoyed life here in Mount Crested Butte and in Crested Butte. So it all worked. But over time, something shifted a bit. They started spending more and more time here themselves. And then Crested Butte started to feel less like an asset on a spreadsheet and more like a home for them. So this past winter, they solidified the whole thing and they decided to work remotely, spend the winter here. The question wasn't really, should we move to Crested Butte anymore? It was, how do we make this happen? So they called me and we got to work, put our heads together, came up with a plan that works for them. But here's where things got interesting. At the same time I listed their Eagle's Nest condo, we started searching for their next home simultaneously because they needed to sell and buy at the same time, and they couldn't be without a place to land, especially now that they had determined that Crested Butte was going to become home and that they also work remotely, they have a family, and so they just needed to be able to accommodate all of those things and make it as smooth as possible. So what we did was we finally found a property. We negotiated a delayed occupancy agreement on the condo sale so that they could stay in there. Then their buyers agreed to let them stay through the closing of the new property. And that kind of coordination doesn't happen by accident. It takes a seller who trusts you and a buyer who's willing to be flexible. It takes 2 agents, really in this case, 3 agents, all involved working together, lots of communication and keeping up with all the spinning plates all at once. Okay, so back to how we found the property. We had first started looking everywhere. We had looked in Crested Butte South, we had looked in Buckhorn, we looked in downtown Crested Butte, we looked in Mount Crested Butte. Just could not find that right property. So we looked at everything that made sense for them, and every time their heart just kept pulling them back to Mount Crested Butte. And Mount Crested Butte is really where they wanted to be, and so that's where we decided just to focus. The right property wasn't showing up at the right time. So we went back to the drawing board and we had 53 Anthracite on the radar. I had identified it as a property to reach out to the listing agent because they had come off at the end of the year. And at our next meeting, they also brought it up. So it just felt like that might be the right property for them. So I reached out to the agent to see if we could arrange a showing, and before it was planning to come on the market in May, and they accommodated us, and my buyers got a shot at it before it ever came back on the market. The contract was signed on January 30th. We closed on May 1st. It was smooth from start to finish. All right, so let me give you a tour of this great property so that you can see everything that it had to offer and why it was so special to these clients. Okay, so welcome to 53 Anthracite, the Chalet. This home won lots of architectural accolades when it was originally built. The design intentionally honors the historical mining roots of Crested Butte, and you can feel that the second you pull up with its very unique design. It has real character and doesn't look like anything else on the mountain. All right, so once you step inside, the first thing that you are really going to feel is the space. It has this wide open main living area with cathedral ceilings. It has skylights, it has hardwood floors, it has a wood stove that is tucked in the corner here on this right-hand side. This is the room where everything happens. I love how the dining room is centrally located as well. There's that wood stove that I was telling you about, and I love the built-in seating around that. And you can put a nice sofa in here, which I think is what my clients will end up doing, is putting a sofa in here. So morning coffee before ski day, you can pray with the whole group. This kind of room, it suits everyone. It just has great light in here, lots of great space. And here's that dining room that I was telling you. So if you're coming in the front door here, you're looking right through the dining room table through the views on the other side. So on the right-hand side is the living room area, and then on the left-hand side is another seating area. It gives you a little bit better perspective as you walk through the front door. The views are amazing. So this hillside over here is the Snodgrass mountain, and we can ski and bike there seasonally for biking, and not just obvious for reasons because of the weather and climate, but they don't always have this trail open. It is something that the Allen Ranches grants to the community they can use it at certain times for a certain time period in the summertime. All right, so this home was fully updated in 2022 by a local builder, Mike Wright of Right Angle Construction. It underwent all new exterior siding, a new roof, brand new windows and doors, new carpet, and new furnishings throughout. So the bones of this classic mountain chalet were freshened up beautifully in every single way. It's a little shot of the kitchen there. It's very minimal. Some nice bar seating there along the kitchen. So I have to talk about the primary suite because it stuck to all of us when we walked in. These are 30-foot ceilings. There are 11 oversized windows facing out to the valley and all the surrounding peaks. It is one of the most spectacular bedrooms I've walked into. It is gorgeous. It is beautiful, lots of light, and just a really nice space to start your day every single day. There's a nice loft above the bathroom and closet. I love the beams up here. Again, keeping that chalet feel. This is the primary bathroom. So one of the features that really sets this property apart that also checked a big box for my clients was the additional living space. So they can have their family downstairs. There's an extra TV room, which we see here. It does have access to the exterior, and it's just a really nice overflow space, and is going to serve them really well as their family is growing up. Downstairs off of the living room are 2 additional bedrooms. This is one of them. You have great views, again, nice space, really nice oversized bedrooms. This is the additional one. I love the built-in benches throughout this house. You saw that upstairs off the living area, and then they carried that downstairs off of this bedroom. And then this is, if you leave these doors right here, if you're coming through those doors, that is that additional living space. It has this great Flagstone Patio. They have some nice patio lighting out here. And then they have this these rock steps out to the fire pit. Okay, another great feature of this property is that it has an attached ADU. So this is an additional dwelling on the property. You do access this from the main entry area of the house. There's under the covered entry of the house, there is a door that will go to this, and it takes you up into this great space. So you come up here, the kitchen is going to be on the right hand side over here on the, like I said, on the right hand side. There's some additional storage here, living room area, small little bar here. And then as you go up these stairs, that is the bedroom area. And then behind this picture, just on the opposite side, is the full bathroom. So you can see that now. So you've come up the stairs, full bathroom, kitchen tucked in the corner here, and then the sleeping space above. Again, great light, lots of windows. This one has great views of Mount Crested Butte on this side. There's the bathroom. So a short walk up Anthracite is going to take you to the homeowner's run. And this, if you're skiing down the Golding Lift, at the end of the day, your last run basically is your driveway. So if there's ample amount of snow and ice on the roads, you can really ski to this house. And it's just a short walk up the hill to the Golding chairlift, and it's a super easy access. Lots of people are walking up and down to get to that homeowner's run throughout the day, and it's a very popular backside of the mountain run for the homeowners. So it's appropriately named the homeowners run. In the summer, what is great is that you have hiking and mountain biking trails that are accessible right from the house. So we talked about Snodgrass before. You can hike and bike over there. You can also hit Gothic Road, head out to the 401. You can also hike out Rustler's Gulch, or you can stay closer to the mountain and do lift service with your bike, or hike up there as well, and you're really super close to home. All right, let's talk about the numbers really quickly. So this was listed at $2.4 million. It sold at $2,325,000. There's no HOA. It was fully furnished. It was a clean transaction all the way. So if you're a buyer, the best properties don't always show up in the search. This home never came back on the market this season. The buyers didn't compete with anyone. They got to access it because I was paying attention, staying connected, and we were thinking creatively about what obvious options that weren't really landing, and just trying to figure out what was a good solution for these clients. So if you want a shot at properties like this one, you need an agent who is embedded in the market and working on your behalf every single day. And that's exactly what I do for my buyers. Now, if you're a seller, these clients also trusted me with a piece of their move that we had to delicately coordinate, from buying their first property in Mount Crested Butte to selling it to finding their forever home, all with the added complexity of a delayed occupancy and simultaneous closings. So if you have a property in Crested Butte or just in the Gunnison Valley in general, and you've been thinking about what to do next, and maybe you might be in this same situation where you need to sell and buy at the same time, reach out to me. I've had these complicated transactions, and I'd love to have a conversation with you of how we can make that work for your particular situation. So this one really meant a lot to me. It was the client relationship that started years ago, grew at every single stage, and ended up, they are now waking up every morning in their beautiful mountain home that they have been really working towards over the last couple of years. If you're thinking about buying or selling in Crested Butte, Gunnison, or anywhere in the valley, I would love to help you out. Call, text, or email. You can even set up a Zoom meeting with me if you'd like. All of my contact information is in the description below. And be sure and hit that subscribe button if you want to keep up with the market and what's actually happening in the valley. And thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Okay, so it looks like you're making a move to Crested Butte or Gunnison, Colorado, and you're trying to decide which video to watch. You could watch this one, or you could watch this one, or you could watch both because they're both really going to help you out and they're both really good. But go ahead, just pick one.